All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Legend of the Three Kingdoms. Yes, this is one of my custom D&D campaigns set up in a significantly more messed up custom world that I created specifically to be messed up. And the peoples you see below me are the people that probably have self-worth issues, which is why they allow me to abuse them all the time. So you guys may want to talk to somebody about that. That being said, hi. How is everybody? Both the people watching currently. I think one of those viewers is me, by the way. So, hi, me. Yeah. Sorry, it's been a little bit. Fun fact: I got some form of food poisoning or something like 2.5 weeks ago. I still cannot eat more than one very small meal a day. So, yay me. I lost like 10 pounds in a week because I couldn't eat anything. It's not good. But I can drink things now, so that's nice. Otherwise, yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any announcements or anything. Not really. I think it's time for us to just keep, abusing these people left and right. And you will notice that the band is back to get together. We still have one more player that hasn't technically shown up in the narrative yet, but we're hoping to get to them today. So, without any further ado, I think it's time to return to the land of Cruciatalia. The party has been scattered in a strange little land, full of sorrow, full of pain and anguish. But through sheer force of will, they have started finding each other, though the ones they're meeting are not the same party members they knew so long ago. Most recently, Argenta Commander and Henri decided to leave Meisenford behind to travel north to Illmorn to hopefully find another missing party member. But to get there, they had to go through the disappearing mists. Named not because the mists themselves would disappear, but because people that entered the mist tended to disappear within them. While in the mists, they were confronted by horrible visions of all their past failures, and they almost were a little lost until Vala, having felt a strange pulling sensation, traveled down and helped a little lead them out with the aid of a familiar friend. After camping for the night outside, they made their way back to Illmorn to hopefully start getting answers to the countless questions that keep appearing before them. So, you've all arrived at the gates of Illmorn. And let me know volume-wise for the background and stuff like that, if it's too loud or anything. You have all reached the gates of Illmorn. And as you get closer, you guys notice Illmorn is very different from the towns you've been in before. Whereas Meisenford was almost a vault. It was so locked. It was locked so tight. And Klossgate was functionally a ghost town. Illmorn seems to be thriving to a point. People are outside. There are conversations happening everywhere. And as Vala gets there, you notice the guards at the front gate break into these very large grins, and they go, "Ah! Welcome back! Seems you've brought guests with you?"
Yes. These are my former associates.
Well, any friend of yours or associate is welcome here. I'm certain the governor will want to meet them as well. Shall I send someone to inform him of your return?
Yes, go ahead.
Wonderful. And you see him kind of turn around, and he knocks on a door nearby that you know is the guardhouse, where the people that are on break basically get to stay there. And you see someone come forward, and it's this really young kid. In any other place, you would find it very, very odd that they had put this kid in a uniform and given him duties as a guard, but here it just seems normal. And wearing the sword that's far too big for his hip, and the armor that bunches up in strange places, and the helmet that almost covers his eyes. He looks up and he sees you, and he kind of smiles, and then he gets very stern again, trying to hide it, and then he gets told something and he runs off. The rest of you notice this is something else. With the guards being very, very happy to see Vala, the rest of the town is not. You can see, as soon as Vala is spotted, the mood of the town changes drastically. You see more scowls forming. You see people start heading indoors. The bustling streets start becoming significantly more empty. And the few people that do remain out to the doors seem to take on a very guarded approach. They scowl and scorn at Vala. A lot of them whispering under their breaths things that are too quiet for you to hear, but you assume there are some four-letter words in there. What would you all like to do?
I will turn to my companions and say, we shouldn't linger in the streets. Best to keep moving. We can go to the villa, get you guys changed, get something to eat before the governor calls. Then I will begin leading them towards the villa.
All right. Walking through the town, you guys notice kind of this very strange, almost ambivalence to the town. Whereas, you can tell that there's a fair amount of life in it. Anywhere that Vala goes, the life just seems to be drained instantly from it. You smell fresh breads and hot meats being cooked that as soon as you get close enough to see who's making these very delicious smelling foods, you see windows close, doors shut instantly. And you can almost, the scents themselves almost take on a sour scent for a moment. It takes roughly about 10 to 15 minutes to make your way through Illmorn, and Vala seems very, very comfortable. She knows exactly where she's going, and you guys get out of the town itself, and you start going up this hill with a single path. There's a gate at the bottom that guards happily let you through, and as you keep going, you keep getting higher and higher, and you can eventually see on this bluff is this extravagant villa. You can see gold accents on a lot of the column work. It seems to be 3 stories tall. Probably one of the most extravagant houses you've seen since coming to this land. And as Vala comes to the front doors, which are these 2 very massive double doors, easily 15 to 18 feet high, they open without her doing anything. And you see this kind of svelte gentleman standing there. "Ah, mistress, it is wonderful to see you again. I see we have company. Shall I prepare anything for them?"
Yes, they will need rooms, perhaps change of clothes, baths, and food.
Of course. Whatever you command, I do. You see him go, and almost as if they appeared out of nowhere, additional servants just rush at you guys. And they take each one of you and they start asking questions like, do you know your measurements? Do you have preferences for your meals? Do you have a preference for how you like your bath drawn? What would you guys like to do?
Hey, Vala.
Yes.
This place have a basement?
I'm certain there's a wine cellar, I believe.
Does this place have... Are you able to... Do you have cells? Iron bars?
Not here. Something can be arranged if necessary.
Have something with silver.
Like a silvered cage.
Possibly.
Do you think that would work, Henri?
I couldn't tell you. You know more about this than I do.
Which is nothing.
There is another room downstairs. There may be something. There are a variety of restraints. We may be able to find something. Yeah, are you expecting company or trouble?
No, but you might.
I always expect trouble.
Not this kind.
What kind of trouble?
And I walk in.
Each of you have been given a team of the 3 sister servants that, if you would like, will take you to your personal room and get measurements for new clothing. One is already offered for all of you to draw you up baths. So you can choose to go with them or whatever you want. You have this entire very, very large villa at your disposal.
I take them up on the bath.
Okay. So you guys watch as commander is kind of led away to his private room. All the private rooms are on the second floor. And there's this
I-
very large double staircase that goes up to the second floor.
I kindly tell them to fuck off because I don't want a bath.
And they very politely go, "Of course, sir." And they fuck off.
I just kind of lean down to Vala and I whisper, he transforms. I don't know when it happens. I've only seen him in the form. And then me and Commander killed him and he turned back. And then he got up.
What kind of creature?
I can't really say. It had blades for hands, really sharp claws. They tore into me and Commander pretty easily, and he could shoot quills or spines from his back.
Well, there is a room down in the basement. Like I said, it has some restraints. It may be useful.
I just kind of look around, and I'm like, this doesn't seem your style.
A lot's changed.
It has.
What have you been up to?
Dying
Hmm.
a lot.
Well, weirdly, this town, not this current place, that town we passed through is probably the closest thing to normal to me that this entire place has been. That's how I used to get treated on a daily basis. Far worse. So to me, that felt like home for a brief minute.
Yeah. What about you, Commander? What?
Commander's
Yeah,
gone.
Oh, that's right.
Commander's got a bath waiting.
That's right.
If he wants bubbles, there'll be bubbles. Nice hot water. Copper tub.
See, he's not the commander anymore. Apparently, he's the breaker.
Well, I know I've told this. I'm sure I've told you this on the way, but you don't want to cause any trouble around here.
Uh,
I mean,
oh, you weren't kidding.
No, I'm not.
Well, then we're gonna need some extra good restraints. Not the fun kind.
I don't know what you think this room is for, but I assure you, you're wrong.
Hey, I don't judge.
That is not how I've gotten all of this.
I mean, what are we gonna find Lillian at like the top of Shangri-La at a sunbathing in a peaceful situation at this rate?
Have you heard anything from her? It's been so long since I've seen any of you.
I couldn't even tell you how long it's been.
I'll look at
for me,
Argenta.
and I died every day. It was kind of easy to count.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to keep track of time when you lose so much at a time.
I mean, Vala will open her book and just start flipping through the pages. I've been here for almost 10 months now.
And how long have you been here? And she just kind of gestures to the house.
A little less than that. This is my You might call it a reward. You might call it a penance. I've learned things since being here. Things I should have learned sooner. A lesson the universe was trying to teach me. I always thought I was the hero of my own story. As a bard, that's what we all are. It's just stories in the end, right? No. No, I learned there are no happy endings. There is no master thread of fate. It's just the same thing day in, day out. People die. People live. The universe doesn't care either way.
Can't protect anyone in the end. I know.
Sorry?
Nothing. Well, we still have this for you, Andre, so you don't hurt anyone. And she pulls the silver manacles off of her hip. I don't know if it's a lycanthrope. If it's not, then I guess we'll find out.
We got 3 pairs of the spiked ones.
Yeah.
Last time.
Paula looks at him. Interesting workmanship, but probably have something better. When do you normally transform? Is this by moonlight?
I'm sorry.
I went there too. It's all good. You know, I couldn't tell you. As far as I know, Jody, I've only transformed once in their presence.
Yeah, when we found you, you haven't like transformed again yet.
Yeah, your knowledge of how your transformations goes is extremely limited, simply because you've never been conscious when it happens. It just you'll will wake up and notice dead bodies all around you, and that's it.
Yep, I couldn't tell you, Vala.
Maybe it's triggered by death. I mean, yeah. She just kind of shrugs. I was used to dying, waking up around mangled corpses, walking back into town. They acted like nothing happened.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, that was probably the only time I've died, for all I know. It could have been countless times. That could have been the only one. Maybe I'm this weird immortal being and only you guys can put an end to me.
I mean, you were dead for a solid minute. We didn't exactly put an end to you.
Here's hoping you can.
Me. And I will reach a hand out and cast and spend a minute and cast Identify to see if I can identify a curse or any kind of magic that may be affecting him.
As you focus this is a spell specifically on him, trying to kind of figure out exactly what it is, there's nothing arcane that just jumps out at you beyond the just natural magic that Henri normally has. However, the longer you focus on this as a spell and the more you kind of delve into it, the worse you feel. Like, it starts off kind of barely noticeable, where you just kind of just feel a little bit off, like your skin tingles a little bit. And the more you do it, like a pit starts to form in your stomach. Your arms and legs start to ache a little bit. Your mouth dries up. And you eventually get to the point where you're starting to kind of gag on just how dry it is. And it forces you to stop.
I'll cough. I assume a servant appears with a glass of water.
Before you finish coughing.
Thank you.
And the girl just does a little curtsy and takes the drink away when you're done. Offers you a monogram to the towel to wipe your mouth with.
Thank you. That was a different experience. One of the things I've learned around here is to not poke too deeply into certain things. And it seems your condition doesn't want to be investigated.
Well, unless, you're some weird old lady that shows up out of nowhere, we're not getting any answers.
I see you saw my show once.
I turn my head to one of the servants. I was just like, can you get me something that burns on the way down?
And the young gentleman goes, "Certainly, sir." And he goes off, and faster than you think should be possible, comes back with a rather kind of nice jeweled goblet. And as you bring it close to your nose, you are almost overwhelmed with the scent of alcohol. This is strong.
Perfect.
Do you drink it?
Yeah.
As it goes down, it burns all the way down, but it is just so smooth. Like as it sits in your stomach, especially since you guys haven't had you probably had rations for your morning meal. So as it kind of sits in your stomach, like it warms your entire body as it just radiates from your stomach. And even with your relatively good alcohol tolerance, you can feel it hit you pretty quickly. Not enough for you to be drunk or anything like that, but you already start feeling a little happier once it's in.
Alright. No, I learned not to poke too deeply. I tried using my portal detection just to see what happened. That was dangerous.
Well, yeah, I don't know what this place is. I tried to reach out to you guys, to Celeste, but nothing. I did see it. Think I saw a glimpse of her in the mists, but I don't know. That place is filled with arcane bullshit.
As you guys are having this discussion, you see someone who is not a member of your staff, but you know him very, very well. He's a representative of the governor. Specifically, he's the liaison between the governor and the guards. And he comes in, he kind of clicks his heels, kind of nods, and just kind of waits far enough away that he would not be able to hear what you're talking about. But just kind of very expectantly standing there waiting for you.
If you two will excuse me a moment, I will walk over.
Well, it seems we have need of your services yet again. There are rumors of insurrectionists about, and well, we can't catch them without the Grand Inquisitor, can we?
No, I suppose not.
Would you prefer to have this conversation away from your guests?
Yes, and I'll kind of like gesture over to a corner. It's a little bit more isolated.
Well, you do actually have
Or a side room.
You have an office on the ground floor that you normally have these meetings in. So if you want, you can go there. The office itself, not only is it soundproofed, but it's also warded into the things like that. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'll guide him into my office.
Okay. So you get in there, and you have this very large, elaborate table with many different maps and other documents on to the top of it. And he goes over to the table, and he starts laying out a bunch of documents and other things, unrolling scrolls and things like that. He goes, well, seems that there's a new group into the town. They call themselves the Revolutionists. And, well, they seem to be very keen on causing as much damage as possible to get rid of our evil governor. We thought perhaps you might have some insight into what they might want to be doing. Have you seen anything on your brief trips outward?
I did overhear a conversation of some arsonists planning some type of fire explosion. I reported it to the sheriff. Hopefully he was able to
Yes.
intervene.
We were able to pick up one of the people in that conversation, but he's proven to be rather tight-lipped. We were hoping you could use some of your expertise. We do have him waiting here for you in the usual spot.
Of course.
If you have any other need of me, I will remain at my post here in the house, waiting for your report to take it to the governor.
This shouldn't take long.
Wonderful. And he clicks his heels, nods to you, and walks out. And you basically have this little almost playpen for him, where he literally just sits waiting for you to give him to the things.
Like a little desk. With
Yeah,
some
there's a
papers.
desk and a table. There's a mirror on the wall. It's a broom closet. But he seems fine.
It's a slightly smaller chair.
Yeah.
Like not quite a Fisher-Price desk, but yes. Okay. All right. Well, I will. I will turn to Henri and say, "Do you want to see the room?"
Yeah.
Okay. Just don't say anything. And I will lead Henri down to the room.
Okay. So as you go into the kitchen where the stairwell to the wine cellar is, you see your cooking staff is already starting to prepare what you're relatively certain is going to be a phenomenal meal. And they see you and they kind of nod, and they actually stop what they're doing to kind of stand at attention. And one of them that seems to be just chopping the same onion over and over again and doesn't quite seem to fit in, notices you, nods, and comes over. And Henri, you notice as he gets closer, he has this scar coming off of his eye, and he's got this kind of like stubble. He doesn't look like any cook you've ever seen. and he goes over to the wine cellar door and opens it and gestures for you to go down. And as you head into the wine cellar itself, he follows you down, and he brings you to the kind of back part of the wine cellar, where he goes to one of the casks that's down there, you assume aging wine. And he just kind of presses his hand, and you watch as the entire top of it turns a little bit, and the wall it's up against moves backwards and slides us aside. And he takes you into another chamber even lower down. This, unlike the wine cellar, which is a really, really nice, humidity controlled wine cellar, this place is damp and dark and just very uninviting. The stairwell you go down is just barely wide enough for you to walk down single file. You actually scrape your shoulders a little bit as you go down. And when you get to the bottom, you come to this room that is poorly lit. You can see on the other side of the room, there's a door, and you can hear the sound of rushing water on the other side of it. And in the middle of the room is a table that's been propped up at about like a 60 degree angle, and you see a young gentleman there with straps tied up to the table. You can see blood trickling down from recent wounds. He's got a swollen eye. Looks like he's missing a couple to the teeth. Around the room itself, you see just massive amounts of implements and other things that you don't want to imagine what they're used for. And standing next to him is this very kind of almost broken looking man. He has a kind of a strange hunch to him. One of his shoulders significantly lower than the other. He is solid muscle. You can see he's missing part of his lips, so it looks like he always has this kind of strange, toothy grin, no matter what he's doing. And one of his eyes is completely white and dead. And he sees you come in and he goes, good. I was running out of patience.
Just before I walk in there, just rewind a second, I will use Disguise Self.
Okay.
To make my skin a little paler.
Okay.
My teeth a little sharper.
Mm-hmm.
Very immaculate, very clean, very professional, and a little bit of, like, I want my eyes just in the light to glint a little bit red.
Okay.
Just very, like, subtly predatorish.
Okay.
Just to put people at unease.
All right. And Henri, you would notice this when he comes down. You watch the magic to take effect, and even you, with your own experiences, feel just a slight chill go down your spine as the transformation is complete. As you get in there, without going into too many gruesome details, as far as the technique you are planning to use, more physical, magical, it's just going to change what you roll.
Right. My idea is more a little bit of good old-fashioned just intimidation.
Psychological. Okay.
Like, you know who I am. You know how this is going to go. Have you met my friend, the Eater of Souls?
Excellent. Okay.
So use that to throw him off along with the image, and then use Detect Thoughts to arcanely dig into his brain.
Okay.
And see what
Go ahead and roll me an intimidation check with advantage. because
Okay.
the damn, and we'll go from there.
How is my intimidation +7?
You can borrow mine.
Ooh. That's 24.
So the combination of this kind of psychological interrogation to the technique, combined with the fact that without trying, you can read all of his surface thoughts, you get everything you want. And the guy that brought you down there just kind of jots down the notes as you learn the information. Do you want to use detect thoughts to probe, or leave it at what you've already found out? Because you've got enough to figure out who it is and everything like that, but there's always more information you could get. And you get rewarded very handsomely when you get more information, even not related to arrests.
Yeah, I'm gonna push a little.
Okay. Remind me, I believe that's a saving throw from him, right? For
Sure, if you probe
thoughts?
deeper, target must make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, this is going to go well for the guy that's half dead.
Mm-hmm.
What's the DC?
That would be 17.
Right. Well, he rolls a 19 on the die. So as you sit there and you start trying to go a little bit further, you see his eyes start to dilate a bit as you start delving, and suddenly you see him just kind of jerk back. He scowls and he just and he spits the blood from missing teeth and everything all over your face. Stay out of my mind, you monster!
I'm the monster. How many innocent people will die because of you and your friends' actions?
How many more will die because of yours?
I will just nod to my friend with a dead eye, and I'll just... This could have been so much simpler. And then I'll just kind of like turn my back.
Okay.
And in a hushed voice, begin showing Henri, like, over here are the restraints that I was mentioning.
Mm-hmm. And there are every restraint you could think of, Henri. There are ones that are just kind of your normal leather restraints. There are ones that are made of steel. There are ones that have spikes built into them so that if you attempt to break them, they will pierce skin. There are ones that have silver forged into them. Like, it's a remarkably well-stocked room for interrogation.
Well, hopefully.
That would be...
Probably have to use silver ones. I mean, Commander and Argenta know more at this point.
As
Do you have a hankering for raw meat?
I don't think I've eaten anything besides porridge. God knows how long.
Well, hopefully you'll have an appetite for tonight. I know I never do.
I think for everyone's sake, let's hope I don't.
As you say that, you hear the gentleman in there. Did you want to observe this time? We've got most of what we want, but you know how the governor prefers us to be thorough.
I'll leave this in your hands. And then I will guide Henri out and back up.
As you guys ascend the stairs with your guide again, he hands all the notes to
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh yeah, I'll grab the notes that he has so far.
And as you guys go up, you hear howls of pain and agony follow you all the way up until the wall is slid back in place, and it's silent again. Apparently, the wall is perfectly soundproof.
Yeah. Do you think you're the monster? And I'll just walk away from Henri and head back over to the liaison. And I'll hand him his notes. This is what we've been able to gather so far. I think you'll find more than enough in there to find his associates.
You still look like the creepy thing?
Oh, yeah, I do. Which, incidentally enough, since I'm using disguise self, the blood just went like through.
Which is creepy in and of itself.
Yes. I am Vala, thing of nightmares. So yeah, I will hand off the notes. Let him know there may be some more information coming, but probably won't get too much more. And then I will go wash up.
I will just wander the house looking for something to drink that doesn't have a lot of water in it.
Anything you could want to drink, you can find.
Okay.
Like a milkshake? Like a protein shake?
I don't know.
Frappuccino. He has his own Starbucks, so.
At this point,
The weird thing about it, though, is despite the Starbucks being inside his villa, they still never get it, her name right. Like, it's always like Valula or...
Wah, wah.
That's the real torture.
There's 4 letters. 2 are the same.
it's their personal live-in barista too, and they're just doing it anyway.
Even Grog could get it right.
At this point, I would have taken them up on the bath, but
Okay.
with a cheese platter next to the bath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cheese platter, like it not even like just a cheese platter, but if you're unfamiliar, like there's like an art form to making like cheese plates and fruit and other things, and you have an elaborate, like beautifully done, and each one of the cheeses is different, and it takes you on this little kind of trip around Crucia d'Italia, with various, flavors and the things. Like there's a story, like there's a little card that comes with it that tells you the story of all the cheeses.
It's a cheese flight.
Yeah, there we could go.
I wasn't there to see the whole torture scene, so I'm visibly, well, not visibly, but just confused as to how this is torture.
So after you all have, those of you that wanted to take baths have taken baths, and you've all, you all have been given new tailored clothing, very, very fancy, like doublets and Argenta. They would have given you very, very nice kind of dresses and the things like that to choose from. You can choose to wear them or not. Those of you that did take baths, your clothing was laundered and brought back before you were done with the bath. So whatever you would like to wear, you can. And this whole thing takes a little over hour and a half to 2 hours, so you can treat it as a short rest.
Alright. I'm gonna stick with my old clothes.
Are these big bathtubs? Or are these like just normal, like, I don't know, one person fits in it just like barely?
It's a relatively large clawfoot copper to the tub. So it's large enough for a single person to fit in very, very comfortably. If two people wanted to sit in it, they would probably prefer to be very acquainted with each other before attempting to
Yeah.
get together in one of these. But
Uh,
it is not like a large, simply because it's in your room, and so after you're done with the bath, they will actually take it out.
oh.
These aren't your white stone bathtubs.
Yeah, no. It's,
Whatever they do, take me up and fill the bath and everything.
Mhm.
I will find anything. Is it just one door in and out, or is it two doors?
for the
room?
room that you're in, you have double doors that lead you in, and the room itself has kind of a sitting area, and then the bedroom itself, there's a divider that a partial wall, effectively, that separates the bedroom area from the kind of sitting room.
I will do whatever I can to block the door.
There's
Just
locks and
'cause
everything on it, so you can lock it.
lock and block whatever I can do.
Okay.
And it's been pretty much the entire time in the tub, obviously in the tub, but with the voices of my brother and sister in my head.
Mm-hmm.
And on an occasion, I will hold myself underwater until my lungs are on fire, contemplating just inhaling underwater
Mm-hmm.
and fighting that urge and coming up for air. And I do that frequently while I'm there until they come back with clothes.
Yeah. Uh, eventually, the water itself has gone cold at this point, and you do hear someone knocking on the outer door, just saying, "Sure, we've put your clothes out here. If you'd like us to bring it in, just let us know."
I'm probably underwater when they bring it in. They knock, I don't even hear it.
Okay. So, by the time you get out, like, you actually have a little bit of goosebumps from the fact that the water has chilled that much for how long you stayed in the. And copper conducts heat really well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you guys are all able to draw off. Anyone else have anything specific they want to do during their 2 hours of downtime?
No.
Cool. So when you guys all could come out, are any of you guys wearing the tailored clothes that they got you, or are you all still in your normal stuff?
I'm in my normal.
Yeah. Normal.
Okay. Argenta? If you're speaking Argenta, we can't hear you.
Might be double muted.
Double muted.
Well, this has been a fun talk, Argenta. Normal stuff. Gotcha. Okay. She just did a type to me. You all could come out, and you have servants waiting for you outside your doors, and they all tell you, "Oh, the governor has requested your presence. If you would all care to meet us in the Grand Hall, we can all take you to the governor's mansion."
Of course.
So
Oh, there we go.
hey,
It works now.
all right, we got an Argenta voicing again. So you all come to the down, and you see Vavala standing there. I'm assuming at this point, well, the spell would have worn off at this point, anyways.
Yeah, no, I washed everything off, and I returned
So you can see
to normal.
Vala is in even nicer clothing than you saw her in before, since she was in her traveling clothes when she went out to get you guys. And you're all taken outside to see this very, very nice carriage waiting for you. And the driver and the footman kind of load you all in, and they take you down the path, and they take you to the actual largest building in the city, which is a full 5 stories tall. You don't know precisely, but you would assume there are hundreds of rooms. Like, this in itself could be its own castle. It is that large. Like, this could almost be its own, like, tiny little town. And as you could come in, you see heralds lining the entryway, and they bring out these kind of trumpets, and they... And one of the heralds comes to the front. The Grand Inquisitor and her companions have arrived. And the door to the governor's mansion opens, and you see this kind of portly fellow start walking out. His face is greasy. You can see him kind of... It looks like he's just finished eating something. There's like grease stains there. His clothing itself is elaborate, but seems to not fit him perfectly. Like, his sash is all wrong and everything. Like, he just doesn't feel right. And he walks out, and he's like, "Hello there. Lovely to see you again. And oh, look, there are some new people that I am simply dying to meet. Were you hoping to eat with us? I've had a little bit to eat already, but you know..." And he pounds his stomach. "Always happy to have more."
Of course. These are my friends. This is Argenta, Henri, and the commander.
I don't even acknowledge him if he looks at me.
Wonderful to meet you all. I am Governor Torrance. This is my beautiful village, and your companion here is probably the greatest find I have ever found. Come. I have wonderful, beautiful food and entertainment, if you all would like that. What would you guys like to do?
I will gesture to the others, like, after you.
Alright, I'll walk.
So Argenta goes for first. The rest of you?
I'll kind of stumble and just collapse.
I will look over to Henri and, like, are you okay? I will go to help him up.
As you do that, you kind of grab on to his arm, and it slips out of your grip. it feels like he's just jumped into a pool or something. He is sopping wet. And as you kind of look down, you can see some white strands on the ground.
All out for Argenta.
Go ahead.
Guys.
I didn't hear what you said, Commander.
I said I called out for. I yelled out for Argenta to come back.
Okay.
I'll just kind of spin on my heel and, double face that.
Okay. As you guys continue to look, you start watching as his arms, Henri's arms, start looking very strange. They look too long. Like they look like they're almost dragging on the ground while he's kind of hunched over. And you start seeing kind of blades up appearing on them. You watch as his hair starts falling out in greater amounts. You see this kind of muzzle start to push out, and these massive fangs appear. And I would like everyone to roll for initiative for me.
Can I don't know if this would be a free action, but call out to the guards to get the governor to safety? Or do that on my turn?
I'm going to say this is sudden enough that none of you are able to react to it. Effectively, this is a surprise round for Henri. Let me write stuff down. All right. Vala, what you got for me?
16.
16. All right. Commander?
14.
Argenta?
7.
And Henri.
So I guess the game really likes me being evil because I rolled a nat 20 for 21. 'cause this
Not
thing is
bad.
lower.
So you are going to get a surprise round as you guys watch as like leathery wings start to sprout from his arms and his clothing kind of shreds off. And the first thing that he does is, Henri, you are very aware that there are a ton of very delicious looking people all around you. And,
I was going to say who looks the most delicious, and I think I know the answer, and I think everyone does too.
For the people closest to you right now that you could get to this turn, because the governor is significantly far away, like he's a good 100 feet away. Your brain is kind of selecting. You can tell that Commander and Argenta and Vala are armed, and no one else is. So I will let you choose what you do in this state, but I remind you, your goal in general is as much death as physically possible. So
Technically, I'm smarter in this form.
yeah.
I would actually just like to point out, Vala is not armed. Nor
theoretically, you are armed with magic, which is what he senses.
Yes, I do not have my mage armor up.
Are they the only 3 within 30 feet of me?
No, you've got about a dozen heralds within the 30 feet. Like you guys were surrounded by these heralds, and there's also the footman and the driver of the carriage are also within the 30 feet. So you only have about 14 to targets nearby, other than your friends.
So little.
I know. I'm so sorry.
I'm just gonna start picking off the weaklings.
All right.
Sorry, Commander. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, yeah, very rightly so.
So go ahead and make me some attack rolls.
All right. First one's an 18.
Yep.
Second one's an 11.
Yeah.
Third one will be a life drain because why not? I can do math. 16.
Okay. All 3 of those are hits. Who are you aiming for? Heralds or the coachman or the driver?
I would think heralds because
Okay. So you guys watch as Henri just lets out this blood-curdling cry, lunges forward and bisects one of the heralds as blood sprays everywhere. He goes over and his large clawed hands go in and literally rip the chest cavity out of another one. And he goes to a third one, grips it, and bites and takes off about half of their throat. As he goes away, lets out another kind of just scream of anger and pain. And now, because that was the surprise round, we go to the top of the order, which is Henri.
I mean, 3 more heralds, I guess.
All right, go ahead and make your attack rolls. I can no longer hear you, Henri.
Yeah, your mic kind of messed up.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
All right, so I said I hope you're not attached to these heralds, but the first one was a natural 19, the second one was an 18,
Mm-hmm.
third one's a 19.
Yeah. 3 more heralds are now in multiple pieces. As he destroys them, you see him taking pieces of them and kind of chewing on them and then spitting them out. And he seems to be ingesting almost as much as he's throwing around. But with the amount of flesh that he's ingested, you don't see kind of any satiation of this drive to kill in him at all. Next comes Vala. What would you like to do? Half of the heralds are now in pieces.
Gave you more heralds.
And when top of the order came, that is when you would have screamed for the governor to go away. To which he is running or waddling.
Well, damn.
I just want to point out this is the most kills Henri's gotten the whole campaign.
Oh dear.
It helps that they're effectively minions, but
I will.
And have horrible armor classes.
I will cast Guiding Bolt at 3rd level. So I need to make a melee spell attack.
It says I'm immune to Guiding Bolt. That's weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
so weird.
That is a 19 to hit.
That hits barely, but yeah.
Ooh.
We
okay,
spared
so
no expense with this monstrosity.
sorry, it's been so long since I've gotten to do anything. I think I had. Yes, I get to add +5 to the damage on that. So, where's the Guiding Bolt? There we go. Uh, 27 points of radiant damage.
All right, so you guys watch as Vala. What's your spellcasting? What spellcasting focus are you using right now?
It'd be my Warlock focus.
Okay,
so
you're
a
still-
like a red quartz.
So you see Vala kind of grab onto a necklace that she'd been kind of hiding beneath her clothing, and she extends a hand, and this bolt of brilliant white light, or is there? What color would you like your?
Oh, it is. Bright white with like little flickers of orange.
Okay. So yeah, this bright white with flickers of orange light appears in her hand, and she points it, and it fires at this monstrous version of Henri, and it is as it hits him, it erupts in this kind of pillar of light, and after it's done, you can see his skin is still kind of smoldering, and this kind of golden or bright white and orange outline is around his body still. Anything else you'd like to do?
I'm assuming the heralds that have been hit are just gone.
Oh yeah. There.
Okay.
Well, not completely. There are pieces of them that are still there. But if you wanted to cast like resurrection or revivify, you would have to pump his stomach first and play, a
Right.
rather large jigsaw puzzle. So.
Healing word. This is beyond.
Oh
healing
no,
word.
they're.
Then I will
I mean,
use.
I'm down 27.
Yeah. I will.
Okay, sir. Really?
I will use a bardic inspiration to inspire Argenta.
Okay. And Argenta, you start feeling something you haven't felt in months. This kind of arcane boost to your abilities and your confidence. However, before you can do anything, Commander.
Quick question. I have in my notes, I have a stream inspiration dice, but I can't remember if I've used it.
We'll say that you haven't for
Okay.
right now. And if you do use it, just cross it off.
Will do.
Whenever, and that goes for everyone. Whenever chat gives you inspiration, just keep track of it somewhere, and you can use those inspirations anywhere. Whenever it's
Yeah.
most beneficial.
Like right now during a TPK.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm worried about.
I will mention, due to guiding bolt, the first attack roll against.
That's true. I'm burning this is probably pointless because of I remember some of his stats, but I'm going to do it anyways. Where'd they go? I'm going to burn a point of grit and use a strength or constitution. Which one do I want to try and attempt? I go dazing shot. Thank God for advantage. 21 to hit.
Yeah.
So DC 17 con save.
It's an 11.
That's a fail. So you have disadvantage on all attacks until the end of your next turn.
Darn.
You may want to roll the damage too.
I'm going to.
Okay.
I just want to make sure
I just know with my monk, I will constantly forget that my punches do more than stun.
Yeah. Oh. Let's see. So that's 14 points of damage.
Kind of bullet.
It would be just regular, so it'd probably be halved.
Okay. Yeah.
Second shot. Just normal shot. 24 for half of 11. You can figure that out for yourself.
What, 6 or 5, Jody?
Always round down.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I will load 2 silver shots into the shots I just fired.
Okay. So you guys watch as Commander pulls out Fury from its hiding place inside his coat, and he goes and he fires off to 2 shots, which impact the creature but don't go quite as deep as you guys have seen it. And then he instantly pops open the chamber and loads in 2 silver bullets, clocks it back into place, and readies himself. Anything else you wanted to do?
I'm right next to him, aren't I?
Pretty close. I'm not gonna, because he did kind of run away to, kill things. So I'll say you're within about 10 to 15 feet.
I'll back up 20 feet more.
Okay. If you'd like, there's a large stagecoach that you can try to use for cover if you would like.
Oh, man. Sure. I'll send, not just on the corner of it to use
Okay.
as cover.
All right. Argenta, what would you like to do? If you are speaking, we still can't hear you.
I'm going to rage as my bonus action.
Okay. So you guys, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you guys see Argenta just start to, her muscles start to flex, and you hear her just let out this bestial scream of rage as her eyes go bloodshot.
And then I'm going to run over to Henri, and I'm going to like throw an arm around his neck as I take his back, and I'm going to try and grapple him.
Okay. That'll be contested. Your strength athletics versus Henri. You can choose this is strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics.
Only time you'll hear me say this, athletics.
Okay. So go ahead and make your rolls.
That's going to be a 28 ton.
Would you say a 28?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you beat my nat 20 with a 25.
All right. So as he comes forward, you feel him start, or you feel her. I apologize. You feel her start kind of gripping and wrapping her arms around you, and you start fighting. And wow, is she incredibly strong? And she gets, an arm around your throat, and she grabs your another one around your waist, and has you grappled as well as she can.
And as I'm holding him, I slip my dagger out of my coat pocket, and I'm going to try and stab him.
Okay. Make the attack roll.
25 to hit you.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark you as my favored foe.
Aw, I'm touched.
13 damage.
I'm assuming magical.
Yep.
So you feel this sharp pain in your little lower back as a blade pierces it and instantly freezes as well. And without even thinking, you let out this kind of bestial cry as the blade is pulled out.
Fall limp.
Is that your hit points?
I had that much exactly.
Haha. And with that, you watch as you pull the wow, that not only was that perfect, but it ended at the same time as the combat music. So congratulations, that was impressive.
Destiny.
As you pull the dagger out, you're used to this dagger kind of almost cauterizing as it stabs because of the ice effect built into it. But as you pull it out, your hand is just covered in blood, as it almost looks like you've ruptured an artery or something, and it just pours out of Henri. The body itself goes limp and becomes incredibly heavy and awkward for you to hold, to the point where go ahead, if you want to try and continue holding this limp body, I will just need a strength athletics to check from you.
All right. 30.
Okay, so yeah, as you sit there, it becomes more heavy than it was before, and you almost drop him, but you are able to hold on. But the skin of this creature goes cold almost instantly, and you watch as it slowly kind of transforms back into the dead body of Henri. As you're all kind of recovering from the just almost instantaneous brutality that just erupted in front of you, you suddenly hear, "Gods! Servants, someone get out here! Oh, this is unacceptable!
I'm keeping a count in my head, and I'll turn to the others and say, how long did you say? How long did it take for him to come back last time? You know what? Never mind. And I will lay a hand on him, and I will cast Revivify.
Okay. As you focus the magic, you again start to feel sick. And it happens the same way as before. You feel this kind of tingling sensation and goes through everything. Only this time, instead of just your mouth growing dry, your entire throat grows dry. You start coughing, completely unable. Your lungs start to stop working, and you can't get the spell to work. As you focus on it, it's like you're casting it on a rock. But whatever this rock is, there's some sort of feedback happening. And I would like a Constitution save, please.
Okay. Ooh. That is nice. That's 22.
22. Yeah, so as you sit there and you focus, you start feeling the meal that you ate earlier start coming up. And you start feeling your eyes start to involuntarily water, and you just kind of focus on yourself, and you have to give up the spell at this point. You can no longer concentrate on it, and you instantly kind of hold your mouth for a moment, and you kind of force everything to go back, but you feel horrible. The rest of you watched as Vala went down, cast the spell, and you watched her skin turn pale, her eyes start turning a little bit yellow. You saw flop sweat break out. You see tears start streaming down her face. And then she stops and holds her mouth.
Did that consume the spell slot and components?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, that happened. I'm just gonna kind of look at her for a moment and touch the area of Henri's clothes that I stabbed, and I'm gonna cast Mend It.
You feel a similar experience. It's not quite as extreme, but you feel strange, then pit of your stomach, and then your muscles start hurting. Your mouth starts to dry out, and once it gets that far, you notice that the spell just hasn't taken any of effect, and because at that point the spell has ended, the symptoms stop. As you're both doing this, Commander and our Gigenta, you suddenly notice there are a lot of guards, and they're pointing all of their they are carrying lances, and they're pointing all of them at both of you. Guards, arrest these horrible insurrectionists.
Allah.
I will recover myself and turn to the governor and say, these people meant you no harm.
Of course, I will allow you to interrogate them personally. Thank you for volunteering.
I look at the governor and I say, we're guests of the Dark Lord. Both of us. All of us.
Ooh.
And I'll just look at her like, what the? Excuse me?
Excuse you?
I'm gonna have you roll an intimidation to check with advantage.
Okay.
You may not enjoy succeeding at this, but
Oh boy.
you made your choice.
And you have Bardic Inspiration.
Yeah, don't forget your Bardic Inspiration.
What die is that? I've already.
I think a D10.
Okay.
Vala
so
became
far.
a pretty big bard now.
23.
Yeah, you see his face go pale. Banish them! Banish them all! Get them out of my city! Get them away! Now! And you feel strong arms start putting manacles on your wrists and lifting both Commander and Argigenta up.
They can pick up Argenta? Jeez.
Yeah, these are very muscly Giga guards, and there's like 6 for each of you. So
I just kind of look at Commander. I'm just like, we're getting the outcast treatment. This is different.
Are they like crowd surfing us out of this town? It's pretty cool.
kind of. They basically they've got one person on each of your arms, lifting you up so that your feet aren't even on the ground. And then they actually have one of the guys took the other end of their spear. They actually have a thing that they put around your waist so they can kind of lift you from further away. And so they're taking you out on the end of a stick, effectively.
Governor, these people saved your life.
Oh, I understand. I understand, Vavala. You feel bad for bringing in these horrible people, but it's not your fault. I will give you the day off so that you can tend to your own, and the interrogations for the other insurrectionists can happen tomorrow. Don't feel bad. You couldn't have known the Dark Lord had brought these here. They tricked you.
Wait. Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. That was the end of that conversation.
I was just saying, as we're being carried away, we still hear this. I was like, is everyone here in this town this stupid?
The governor doesn't seem to acknowledge that statement, but you do feel a gauntleted fist strike you in the back of the head.
Oh, yep, there's one more. Okay.
Vala, what would you like to do? You do notice that you know what you're saying and you can hear yourself, but he's reacting to words you're not saying.
Right. Listen here, you piece of shit.
Oh, jeez.
Let me interrogate them at least. Find out what purpose the Dark Lord sent them here for.
Oh, we cannot do that. We are not allowed to touch the Dark Lord's servants. The only thing I'm allowed to do is get them out of my town. The corpse as well we will dispose of. But beyond that, I cannot allow you to interrogate them.
What if you don't allow me?
No, if you were to do anything, I would be forced to punish you. And I don't want to do that. Besides, how would I punish you? My chief punisher would be out of the service. Come enjoy my meal with me. Make you feel better.
I should tend to this body.
No, you
may
will
have...
not to touch any of them. I will have my guards take care of it. And he calls over 2 people that you know are dressed as his heralds and most definitely are not. And he kind of speaks under his breath. The ones that touch the dead body, and, well, really all of them, once they are outside the city limits, ensure that they're taken care of. And they both turn to him and go, "Of course, Your Grace." And they melt into the shadows. Now, don't you worry at all. We have many more things for you to take care of later. Come, I have a wonderful meal. Suckling pig, roasted duck. It will be lovely.
Vala is just torn between setting him on fire and she just stands there, like, just dumbfounded.
And as he's kind of waddling his way back into the mansion, he kind of stops and he looks back. Vala? Vala, what's wrong? I think you don't look well. Oh! I understand. You've been working yourself too hard, haven't you? Fine, you don't have to twist my arms. You can take a vacation. Enjoy yourself. Relax. I'll have the guards go out and just do some punishments to keep everyone in line while you're gone, and we can pick up next week. Be wonderful. Citizenry haven't been punished indiscriminately in quite some time anyway. I fear they have forgotten the feeling of it.
You're too kind.
Nothing but the best for my Grand Inquisitor.
And I will just turn around, and start walking back to the carriage. And I'm assuming Henri's corpse.
Henri's corpse has already been cleared up by the time the conversation is gone.
Do I know which way it went?
I mean, they're making a beeline to the entrance that you guys came through. So,
okay.
You know the path they're taking.
I will follow them.
Okay. With your knowledge that this is a city and the fact that nobody gets in your way, you have no problem catching up to them. You catch up to them after they've left the grounds of the mansion and after they've passed by the road up to your villa. The part of the town that they're in is particularly deserted at this point, because once the guards come by with prisoners, everyone just scatters. So by the time you could catch up to them, it is literally just 3 guards up a piece for them, and then 2 guards carrying Henri's dead body.
So they're all 3 of them are being carried in the same direction then.
Yes, all of them are being taken this is the same place.
Then I will follow it at a discreet distance.
Okay. They are rather absorbed with what they're doing, so they don't even think to notice you. So you have absolutely no issues getting all the way. When do you want to stop following discreetly?
I kind of want to wait till they get to the edge of town.
Okay.
Or just before. And then I will put on my persona.
Okay.
Using disguise self. And I will I will just call out to them and say, "You, hold."
And they kind of look very confused because with this kind of job, they don't take any orders. Once they're given an order by the governor, no one can supersede that. And so they recognize your voice and they're very confused because you can't tell them this is a stop. Is it gonna, oi, what you want, Inquisitor?
I need to interrogate these people.
Oh, no can do. We've been given orders. We're not supposed to touch these. We've got to take them out.
Are you... dare questioning me?
What's going on here? You heard the governor himself. We take these out. These are the Dark Lord's guests. You know, there's a good chance I'm going to be punished just for taking them out. Like, I don't want this. What's going on there?
I will like get very close up to him and kind of whisper in his ear. Well, first off, do I recognize him? Have I seen him around town?
You know most of the guard staff, at least by face. You don't remember his name at all, but you've seen him before.
Have I seen him with people? Does he have a wife, children, maybe
that
I know
roll
about?
Me a history check. Your battery level is low. Exchange for the battery. Just FYI.
Very odd that it would be low. There we go. I tried using a different camera. History, you said?
History, yes.
I want his name. I want his wife's name. I want his children's names. It was a nat 20, 25 total.
You have almost made it a rule to not get to know these people. But before you made that rule, you did get to know this gentleman. His name is Lyle. He doesn't have a wife or kids, but he does have a elderly mother and a sister that he takes care of. The sister
Excellent.
is a widow.
Excellent. I will lean in closely and say, it would be such a shame if rumors would start circulating about your mother and sister.
And you see his face drop. And it's not fear that you see in his eyes. It's a combination of sadness and disgust. You son of a bitch. And he seems speechless. And he goes, because he was one of the guys holding one of the, and he kind of clicks it, he takes it off. Fuck you. And he kind of motions for his people, and they walk away.
I will turn to Commander and Argenta, and I assume Henri is still dead.
Yep.
So what's your plan now?
Not sure. I wasn't expecting that reaction. I didn't know what invoking that would do.
What does that mean, your guests of the Dark Lord?
It's what we've been referred. I look at Commander. What we've been referred to on multiple occasions, usually by the governors.
Hmm.
Apparently, people summoned here by the Dark Lord are called that.
You were summoned by the Dark Lord, you mean?
Brought here. If you were one as well, but I don't know if you knew
I think it has something to do with that ritual that put us here.
Jody, do I know? So, it sounds like agents of the Dark Lord are not allowed in town.
You have no idea. You've never heard, and they're not agents; they are guests. Is the specific phrasing? If I've used other phrasing,
No.
Guests.
No, I was more talking about like actual servants
to your knowledge, people that work for the Dark Lord, basically, they could, if someone was an official representative of the Dark Lord, he could come to Illmorn and order the governor to strip naked and do a belly flop.
Got it. Okay.
They are the ultimate authority. However, they very rarely, if ever, come into any of the towns. The most you've ever interacted with is the tax collector While he has that authority, he's never actually used it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
there
didn't-
are higher ups that exist. They've just never come. But as far as guests of the Dark Lord, you've never heard that phrasing before. The Dark Lord doesn't have guests. Even people, even the maidens that he invites up to his castle are not guests. They are generally his property.
I was gonna say appetizers.
Whatever. They're not
So-
guests.
So
Yeah, you've never heard that phrase, and it did scare the bejesus out of the governor.
I don't think it's safe for you guys here anymore.
I gathered that much.
Kind of obvious, yeah. I'm keeping an eye out this whole time, Jody, for the old lady with the cards.
Funny you should say that.
Old
As
lady
you
what?
say that, you hear, "No, I doubt it's safe for any of you. Here,
And right on cue.
there, anywhere." And you notice from an alley this very, very old woman walking forward, more shuffling than we're walking.
As she's approaching, I'm gonna grab onto his body and just toss him over my shoulder.
She holds a very elaborate-looking deck of cards in her hand, and she's wearing this kind of flowing dress and shawl kind of combination. Dress, shawl, cloak, all in one. So, seems that you all have been busy since our last conversation.
Yes, and we found the fourth.
Yes, only one more guest remains. The Scornmote is such a long ways away.
Scorn. Alright.
Who are you?
My name is unimportant. Just think of me as a knowledgeable friend, here to aid you in your journey.
That
If you have
would be a first.
questions, I have many answers, though they may not be the answers you want. And the entire time she's doing this, she's just casually shuffling this deck of cards.
Do you happen to know how long until she's gesture thundering he wakes up?
I do not. It's different every time. Sometimes it's a few moments, sometimes it's days. Whatever will cause the most suffering, I would guess.
What? Yeah, so while that's happening, I'm just gonna take a second or 6 and cast Detect Thoughts.
As you cast it, I'm assuming you're casting it on her?
Well, I'm casting it and then I'm gonna let my mind
Sure.
wander to hers.
As you
just to get
do,
surface thoughts.
you get nothing. There are no surface thoughts. There's nothing hidden beneath. You might as well be trying to read the mind of the wall beside her.
I'll look at her hands to see if she has a ring of mind shielding.
Nope. And she kind of looks at you. Yes, I'm a bit more clever than you might think at a casual glance or read?
Well, you can't blame a girl for trying, can you?
Oh, I can and I do, but that will be taken care of later. Besides, I've already told you. You ask me questions, I will give you answers. There's no need for subterfuge.
Okay. What's wrong with him? And I'll point to Henri.
He's dead.
I'm talking about the larger picture. Why does he keep turning into a monster? And how do we stop that from happening?
It's something you will have to discover for yourself. This realm is fueled by suffering, by pain, by anguish. Whatever has happened to you here thus far, it is what keeps the world turning. So what's wrong with him? Well, he is suffering. He needs to suffer for this world to exist. How do you fix him? Find out why he suffers.
That's what I've personally figured is what it means to be a guest of the Dark Lord. We're essentially the batteries, the bigger ones of this world.
Oh, don't kid yourself. While yes, you are very important, or were, for it at a time, now there's enough suffering to go around. I will say, you still have an important part to play, but you are not responsible alone anymore for the existence of this realm.
So how do we bring this whole thing crashing down then?
Well, Castle Torment Rift, where the lovely Lucian holds court, probably be a good place to start. That's where this world starts. It's the seat of power, and inside it resides, well, you know, the creature that created all of this.
How do we know we can trust you? How do we know you're not here to just send us down a path towards more suffering?
You don't, and you can't.
In my experience, hope is the greatest kindling for suffering.
Your experiences are true. Hope can be a very dangerous thing. However, the only true cure for despair is hope. It's the unique thing about hope is it can be both the cause of immense pain and suffering and the cure. It's your job to discover which it is this time.
I turned to Val kind of like fire.
Fire is all cleansing.
I will say, for the time being, you're most likely done in Illmorn. Too much has changed. Too many problems have surfaced. Anything else you'd like to know?
What you've given us slight hints of everyone else. What's the general state of our last guest?
Well, she has seen the light and now works to bring others towards it.
Oh, God. Wait. And I'll turn to the others like, wait, did she decide to follow Celeste?
I'm not sure.
Would you like a reading before I go? Your friends have enjoyed them greatly.
Sure, it'll be good for a laugh.
Certainly. She draws a card. Let's see if I can get this. Looks like this.
A comet.
Places it down. Well, beacon of light is going to appear before you. Very bright. Bright enough to light up the night as a sky. Lead you to your next goal or your next peril. She draws another one.
That could be any of us.
However, one of you will see the light and assume it's simply the moon, ignoring all the signs, all the information in front of you. Very sad. Pulls the third card. Finally, death will follow you, will lead you, will surround you and bind you together. Keep your spirits up. You've come so far. Got much farther than I thought was possible. I'm interested to see what happens next. Very much so. Now, you must leave. Unfortunately, your other friends have already left.
Our other friends.
And you kind of glance away for a second to kind of figure out what that means, and you look back and she's not there.
Who does that?
Right. I need to go back to the villa. At the very least to get things.
Yeah, I have tricks. And Argenta will...
Are you sure that's not going to be able to happen?
Argenta will pull out her component pouch and cast Pass Without Trace on all of us.
So, but Pass Without Trace can only be cast on yourself, and it's a concentration spell.
Yes, so I'll cast it on myself, but the aura around.
Anyone within 20 feet of you will benefit from it. So if you all will want to try to head back to the villa in secret, you can. Vala, you do know that the sound of rushing water from the torture room, there is an artificial river that was specifically created to be able to ferry guests between your torture room, the guardhouse at the front of the city, and the torture chambers underneath the governor's mansion. So if you want to get into the house more discreetly, you know of a couple different places where you can get into that river and could go up.
Yeah, I'm thinking we head to the... And I'll tell the others, there's a river that we may be able to go to if we go to the guard shack at the front of the town.
All right.
It'll be a more discreet entrance.
Are you carrying
Yeah, I'm carrying
Henry?
Henri's body.
Henri doesn't weigh a ton. I mean, he's put on a little more muscle since his trip to the elemental plane of water, but he's still pretty easy to carry. Sargent has no problem just carrying him around.
But
Go ahead.
Yeah, I figured maybe it's easier for 2 people to sneak in than it would be for 3.5 people. And so I was thinking, if you guys want to leave him out here, I'll stay out here, and just if he comes back during the middle of this, would probably be a bad thing too.
The only thing is I don't trust anything here.
yes, and I'll tell them about the 2 shadows. There's somebody out there looking for you.
So, with the what?
I would like to use sending.
What?
Okay.
Oh no.
What would you like to use this sending on, or who would you like to target?
I would like to target the governor
Okay.
and tell him that, yes, we will be out of your hair shortly. But if we see anybody hostile towards us, before we leave, I will be informing the Dark Lord of your intentions towards his guests.
Okay. And you get a message back. Of course, enjoy your vacation. I hope you're able to find some relaxing times.
Fucking shithead. All right, let's go and be quick about this.
With the combination of Pass Without a Trace and your knowledge of this city, you have no problem getting back to the villa, getting any supplies that you need, and getting back out of this city rather quickly. Anything else you want to pick up as you leave the villa?
I'm assuming I don't have like a collection of 300 gold diamonds just lying around or anything like that.
300 and a no. But because of the just kind of immaculate wealth you do live in, I'll say component wise, you probably have enough diamonds for 4 castings of Revivify that you could
Excellent.
take with you.
Okay. So yeah, I will get some nice traveling clothes, a bag. Thank you for those components.
It's not me. You literally were filthy, stinking. Like, it was obscene. The
Yeah.
amount of money you had.
Yeah, I'm not taking any of that. I'm taking the components because
There you.
Well, no, hold on.
Those will be
We could
useful.
use some gold. We could use the gold.
This shit is tainted. I will also point out, I'll take them into the Red Room of Pain and be like, yeah, we'll probably need some of these restraints. So we have the good silver ones,
Okay.
the leather ones and stuff. Don't ask any questions. Go
Have
in.
a little bit of the gold.
If you want to take some gold, you're welcome to do it. I cannot guarantee you're going to enjoy the results, but you can do it.
The DM says that. Say no.
It's up
Val-
to you. It is your choice. It is your character's choice.
I'll just
I
look
just
at them
need
and
to
say,
know what the choice is.
I'll just look at them and say, this was my punishment. This was my suffering. Or this was the result of it. And then on the way out,
Being filthy rich. Okay.
on the way out, that one, I will summon the head servant and just be like, yes, we will be leaving. Should be back in a few weeks or so, maybe. But one last thing before I go, and I will just haul off and cold cock him.
So you come up to him. He's like, yes, sir. Of course, sir. Yes, sir. Right, sir. Of course, sir. And he's out like a light.
Like, I wanted to do that for 10 months now. All right, let's go.
As you bring it back, you actually notice a tooth stuck in your knuckle.
Drop it on the ground.
Say, knowing Vala, does she take damage from hitting him?
No, we'll just say the righteous fury shielded her.
Nice.
And yeah, you guys are able to make it out of the city without too much difficulty. As you guys finally make it to the outskirts, Vala, you notice something ahead of you that just feels wrong. As you get closer, you see 8 corpses on the ground, one of which is Lyle's.
God damn it. And I will take out my book, and I will write down 8 guards, including Lyle. And close the book.
Okay.
Argenta's not even blinking at it. It just seems normal to her at this point.
And I'll turn to the others and say, this is what happens when I try to help. I should have lit him on fire when I had the chance.
As and you would recognize the kill method as well.
Which is?
The shadows.
Yes.
To get to Scorn Moat, just to kind of speed things along a bit, you'll have to travel through Middenwell, which is the largest city in this particular land, and you guys get through it pretty quickly. Henri doesn't respawn, for lack of a better word, for 2 days. And to get to Middenwell, it takes better part of about 3 to 4 days. And then to get all the way to Scorn Moat is another 5 to 6 days. So in the week and a half-ish that you guys have, is there anything specific you want to do as you to travel?
I will at one night, probably the first night out, I will take one of my uniforms and just throw it on the fire.
Okay.
I would have set up a little thing so that I could tie Henri onto my back while we were walking, so that's how he probably would have woken up.
Yeah. It was a kind of jarring experience when you're just going with your little, baby carrier with your dead friend, when he suddenly wakes up and starts thrashing on your back.
Were you Yoda carrying Henri?
Yeah, pretty much.
Feel the force flow through you.
Oh, man.
Oxide.
Kill him.
Do it.
Oh, man.
I can also, I will try to use sending to reach out to Lillian.
Cool. Make me a concentration to check.
Mm, 15.
As you start to cast the spell, you've never done this before, You trip over the incantation, and every time you try and to do it, you can't get through the incantation for some odd reason.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it would work because I'm sure I've tried this before with the others and just assumed, well, maybe they weren't here. Maybe they were dead when I tried.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I hate this place.
You know the sending spell works because you've used it with the other ones, but for whatever reason, whenever you try to contact any of your friends, it just doesn't work.
One of the nights during travel, I will unload the gun and sit down next to Vala and hold it out to show the end of the barrels and that new marking. And ask, do you know potentially or have any kind of clue as to what these markings are?
Do I recognize the markings?
Make a religion check.
That's just a question too. Would I know what these are because of where I grew up?
You I'll put it this way: you should, and the fact that you don't means something.
17.
Looking at it, they're not just markings. They're not just like, damage or scuffs or anything like that. They have a shape to them, and as you look closer and closer, it almost looks like the light is playing tricks on you. But you could swear it looks like the holy symbol for the Valiant Warrior. Is that what we decided?
Yeah.
Okay, the Valiant Warrior.
No, I mean, it looks like the symbol for the Valiant Warrior.
And as soon as you hear that, it's obvious to you, Commander, that that's exactly what it is. And it sincerely bothers you that you couldn't recognize it before.
I just sit there frustrated, staring at why did I not know this kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
During the nights, because I haven't done it in a while, and seeing the three of them, not everyone's here yet, but I'm a bit more comfortable. I'm going to just cast casually, like speak with animals, use sense ritually to communicate with the spirit wolf, because I haven't done it in a while.
You trailed off a bit at the end there. I heard communicate with the spirit wolf, and then...
Yeah, because I haven't done it since I got here and started dying over and over again.
Okay. And just because my brain is Swiss cheese right now, remind me who this spirit wolf is?
My totem.
Oh, okay, yeah. So as you sit there and you try to commune with your totem spirit, you can't. You've tried over and over again, and you're not sure if they're just not answering, if they're not hearing you, if they're choosing to not speak with you. You don't know why, but the connection just isn't happening.
All right. Man, just say I don't like this place at all.
Anything else you guys wanted to do on your journey?
After talking to Vala, I'm guessing the night after talking about it, I would go to sleep with it unloaded.
Mm-hmm.
Just staring at the symbol, running my fingers over it, and just thinking, asking questions like, what does this mean? Why is this coming now? Things like that. Just repeating these questions over and over in my head.
Anyone else?
I transform. Just kidding.
I will probably take Henri aside at one point and just say, let's just keep what happened in that room between us. I don't think the others would understand. I don't know that I understand.
I mean, I'm gonna level with you. I don't remember too much of when we entered that house.
Great then. Do you remember what happens when you change?
No. Like I said, the last thing I remember is refusing a bath. Everything after that's a combination of blur, blacked out memories at this point. I don't even know how long it's been this time.
Well, good. I mean, so you don't remember seeing me naked or anything like that. It was very awkward.
I mean, I remember. No, I don't remember anything.
Okay. Well, hopefully we can find a way to stop you transforming.
I mean, Shiver comes back. She kind of gave me, and I'll make a gesture like I'm holding a deck of cards. From my understanding, if you met her, I'm not entirely sure I trust her, but I don't even trust myself at this point. But she kind of gave me something to go on, and it sounds like this only ends with the Dark Lord's demise. That's what I gathered.
Well, I am all for that. And as we're talking, I'm kind of going through my bag a little bit, and I just happen to pull out a dagger that has a strange flame-like appearance. I go, huh. I wonder if they put that in my bag somehow. I just kind of like look at the edge. That could be fun.
You do notice on the guard, there's a hole on one end, and there's a couple holes throughout the blade as well that seem odd.
I will take the blade and put it up to my lips and blow.
It has a nice sound.
I'll start
Kind of a
practicing
brassy,
a little.
flute-like sound to it. The pommel of it twists to change the register. So you can play a fair amount on the thing once you get used to it.
Yeah, I'll spend some time practicing with it.
Okay.
As you're doing that, like Argenta's just kind of shuffling around, and you notice that she's just looking at this new coat that you haven't seen her in before. And there's a mixture of confusion, but like familiarity on her face, and she's just adjusting it.
It's a nifty coat.
Thanks.
What?
I just got it.
Is it? How many colors is the coat? Is it just like one color, or?
Some would say Technicolor.
These are just the questions I'm asking.
I'd say there's two on it.
Mm. It's not-
Not sure if he's not getting the reference or he's intentionally just
No,
it's
I,
deep in
I'm
the
in,
weeds.
I'm intentionally funny.
Andrew Lloyd Webber is just in the back of my brain right now going, no, sing it, sing it.
I mean, there's orange.
So, you guys can continue your travel. Liliane, it's cold. But it's always cold in the morning, especially in the cell that you sleep in. You've tried to stop calling it that. This is your room that the church has given you, but it just feels like a cell. It always has. You have a single bed. You have a very small little desk that has a small area where you can study the holy book that they've given you. Though the text that you read here is very different from the text that you remember from before you got here. But you've kind of gotten into this rhythm. Every morning you wake up before dawn when it's still cold enough to see your breath in your room. You get up, you do your required 20 minutes of reading, another to 20 minutes of prayer. Then you hear the call to breakfast bell ring, and you go out for your morning meal. But something about today is different. As you're sitting with the other junior clergy, you hear one of them mention travelers coming to Scornmote. And you guys have travelers every so often. You've gotten used to the fact that they generally will send you with a couple other acolytes out to ensure that any new to the travelers are not going to try to do anything that would upset the balance of the town. Something about just the way they're talking about these travelers is making you feel uneasy. So after your very boring porridge breakfast, you have a couple hours of a free time before you're set to get your assignments. Generally, they prefer that you spend the time in reflection, but unlike the reading and prayer where they will actually check up on you and scry on you to ensure you're doing it, they don't actually force you to do anything during these couple hours. So what would you like to do?
Like, am I really wrong?
I'll let you decide. They prefer you to wear plain dark robes with a single sash. However, it is not a requirement, and they do allow, especially with your unique way that you entered the service. They've given you leniency because you weren't born and you weren't given to the church as young. You came full grown. So if you would like to wear your normal clothes, you're allowed to.
So I'll wear the robe.
Okay.
And I will kind of, I will, like, if what they feel about this new travelers and they see what the rumors are.
Okay. You have formed a couple friends within the church. One of them is a young man who he was quite literally born in the church. Both of his parents are acolytes, and so it's all he's ever known. His name is William. And then there's also a girl that came to the church when she was between like 5 and 6, and so she knew some of before the church, but has spent most of her life, and she's now in her late teens, and her name is Claire. So either one of them, would be willing to talk to you. Who would you like to speak with?
I'll go to Claire, I guess.
Okay. So you go and you find, you first go to Claire's room, because that's where you're supposed to be. And she's not there. So the next place you check is the kitchen, or just outside the kitchen, because she likes to sneak rolls and the things like that between meals, because she hates the food that they serve for breakfast and is almost always hungry.
Yeah.
And sure enough, she has just finished buttering up the cook and walking away with a single roll. And when she sees you out of the corner of her eye, she kind of goes back, butters him up a little bit more, and sequesters a second roll. And she goes out into the hallway, and she very triumphantly hands you this relatively freshly baked roll. Like, it's been baked within the last half hour. So it's still a little bit warm, soft. Unlike most of the time, by the time you eat the bread here, it's stale. So it's a nice little treat.
Yeah.
She goes, Liliane, got something for you. And she gives it to you.
Thank you. I was there about her seeing it help it, but I see you don't. And I'll take her front bite.
Okay. And she kind of feigns this hurt. She's like, I'm hurt that you would think I would need help. And she kind of giggles. She's like, and she kind of nods her head because if you guys are caught with these, you'll be reprimanded. And so she, you guys both go to one of the quieter areas of the garden, where again you're supposed to be in reflection and prayer,
Yeah.
thinking about death. And so she kind of sits down with you, and you both have kind of gotten really good at sitting in a way to make it look like you are doing what you're supposed to be when you're totally not. And she goes, so, any plans today? And she's gotten to the point where she's hidden the the roll in the sleeve of her robe, and she's so good that she can tear off pieces and just brush by her mouth and eat them without you ever seeing any of them. Like, she's got this masterful sleight of hand. So, plans today?
Not really, although I do that breakfast that we might have some visitors coming to town. Have you heard anything about them?
Well, the man that brings the flour, he seemed, I don't know, worried. These aren't travelers or anything like that, and they're not coming here for the church. But apparently, and she kind of looks around like she's about to say something wrong, and she leans in. I've heard they have something to do with the you-know-who. And as she says that, she's referencing the Dark Lord. Because of how acquainted he is with the death, it's kind of a taboo to even say the Dark Lord, much less no one is allowed to openly speak his name. Yeah, basically. It's not quite that bad, but yeah, and it's only within the church. The rest of the town has no problem, but because of your reverence for death and the Dark Lady herself, it's become almost ritualistic, and half of the text in the holy book they gave you describes the very close relationship he has with the Dark Lady, and how they're both they almost deify him in the book. So
really, like more tax collectors, or
I don't know. Normally they're just tax collectors. They say it. No, whoever these guys are, they're let's just say the magistrate is worried. There's been rumors that he might even deny them entry to the city.
well, if they are connected to who, would it deny them entry?
See, that was
More problem?
that was my question too. I mean, who's the magistrate to deny entry to one of his people? I don't know what it is. I'm going to see if I can get put on the evangelism to the team to meet with them before they could come in. I'm just curious. I know you always get sent on there, but
Yeah.
they never let me go. Do you think you could put a good word in for me?
Yeah, I'll try.
Great. And she kind of instinctively just kind of gives you a hug, realizes what she's doing, and immediately kind of breaks off. I've got to go make it look like I'm doing something good. I'll talk to you later, okay?
Yeah.
And she kind of rushes off. As she does, you see one of the priests walk by and just gives you this stink eye, and just keeps on walking. He's sanctifying the garden, so he's got the little ball and smoke going around. He has incense, and he's going around trying to cleanse it of its impurities, which happens every day. And it's always kind of confuse you, like how impure can it get in a day when the only people in here are acolytes? But it's what they did to do.
Yeah, so after she leaves, I will do everything that I was supposed to do.
Okay. At the end of your reflection period, one of the head acolytes comes up to you, and you have never really gotten along with him. His name is Glenn. He's got red hair and he's clean shaven, but he just always seems to have like a 5 o'clock shadow even after he shaves. And he comes over and he's like, "Looks like you've got your work cut out for you again today.
Oh yeah, what is that?
You're being sent out to talk to the travelers before they cause trouble in the town." And he leans in and he actually grabs you by the collar a little bit and brings you in close. "And if you screw this one up again, I'll ensure that the Mother Sister Superior tans your hide. We don't want another repeat of the last time, now do we?
No, no.
Fine.
That what is me belong to a kind of a fake ball of submission, however you want to describe it.
And he knows it's an act, and it pisses him off more. But then the priest comes by, and he kind of adjusts your robe and does the same kind of fake bow, gives you this kind of evil look, and he walks off. And then he stops. Take 2 other acolytes, whoever the hell you want. And then he goes. Now, this is another thing that's unique, because you've always been assigned to a group to go out. You've never been given the authority to choose your own group. So what would you like to do?
Well, I can choose Queen William.
Okay. So you get both of them. Claire is thrilled. William is as well, but for a completely different reason. Like, Claire's like, yay, I get to go. And William's like, oh, I'm super important now. He's been drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah, you guys set out for... generally, you try to meet with any new to travelers about a quarter of a mile outside this is a city. Commander Argenta, Henri, and Vala. You guys can see Scornmote in the distance. And as you get closer, you see 3 people in kind of very plain black robes walking towards you.
I'll kind of squint, see if I can't make out if they're armed or not, what they look like.
From how far away? Because Scornmote is kind of at the bottom of a hill. And so from how far away you guys are when you first see them start coming out, you have a hard time telling anything. But the closer you get, you can see they're carrying just about nothing. You can see each one of them does seem to have a dagger of some sort. Or in Lillian's case, I'll let you choose. You're allowed to keep your sword on you, or you can have the daggers. All acolytes of the Dark Lady are expected to have a weapon to speed someone along through death that's either suffering or who's fighting the will of the Dark Lady to have their life ended. So they do allow you to carry your sword if you want it.
No, I probably wouldn't have carried my sword and joined the
Okay.
So
So
I would only have. Well, I would only have the dagger.
okay. So yeah, as they get closer, you do notice they do carry a dagger. None of them are carrying it particularly well. 2 of them are not carrying it particularly well. Like, it's on their hip, but it's obvious they don't know how to use it. The 3rd one, however, it's cinched correctly. It's at the exact right angle to be pulled very, very quickly. It's obvious whoever the 3rd person is. They know how to use it.
Alright, I'll just kind of hail them as they're approaching.
Okay. As they get to the front, they all kind of bow to you. They all have hoods up over their heads. And as they bring their heads up, they all take their hoods down, and 2 of them are very, very young to be working for the church youth, I think. But the third one is Lillian.
I immediately lean down to Vala and whisper in her ear in Elven, "Oh no, she's joined a cult."
Be like, hey, what's wrong with the Dark Lady?
Everything.
That's true.
And as you guys all kind of come to terms with the fact that you've just seen Lillian, that is where we are going to end it for tonight. Thanks to everyone that was watching. If you missed any of the episode, I do upload all of these to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TrainerJody. You can catch the entire series there. All the episodes go live Sunday at noon. So feel free to check it out there. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording, and then I'm gonna try and raid someone. Just because we have people watching. So anyway, for those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. And that is all for me today. So I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye-bye.